Good morning, everybody. So today is really a history-shifting day for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
James to Davis, and a chance for three.
If you're telling me that LeBron James has Anthony Davis available to him, excuse me, I'm rolling with the Lakers to win the title.
It's over. This historic 2020 NBA championship belongs to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Indeed, what was he doing upstairs? Drinking coffee with Magic Johnson? Exactly.
I just know the little I tell you.
Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Late Night Lake Show podcast. It is your host, so Ricky and Danny. Danny, how you doing today, bro?
Good, bro. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, top of the top to you. We come to you guys on Monday, July 18th, year of our Lord 2021. Game 5 of the NBA series wrapped up on Saturday. By the time you guys hear this, the Milwaukee Bucks will be on the verge, have their first opportunity to secure their first NBA title since the early 70s with Kareem. So we're going to get into the NBA Finals, talk about the series, how things are shaking out, what the result of this series means for the Lakers going forward. There are plenty of pieces. There are players in this series that are going to be upcoming free agents. Are there any opportunities for those players to be Lakers? And even if you want them, Chris Paul is having an up and down playoff series. So we'll get into all of that, but make sure you guys are subscribed to the show wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you're following Danny at @base_Dan. Make sure you follow me at Mr. Ricky Spanish. Let's get into it, Danny. First of all, I just want to acknowledge that the Drew Holiday steal on Devin Booker to alley-oop to Giannis to seal the game in Game 5 is one of the top 5 most memorable playoff moments, finals moments that I can personally remember. That was such a monumental play, and the level of just, I'm sorry, why the fuck did you just do that, Drew? Was insane. There was no need to throw Giannis that hoop.
I mean, he heard the screams. You heard the Greek freak say, throw it up, throw it up, throw it up. And he did it. It was a honestly perfectly executed pass. You know, all 6'11" of Giannis just grabbing it with that reach, slamming it down and the stare down. It was a culmination of things. That's almost like the Milwaukee Bucks playoff run in a nutshell, if you think about it. Like, you know, they're down, they're playing gritty. One big play happens. Like, that was like Drew Holiday's moment, stealing the ball, known for his defense and active hands, and then just throwing it up to the MVP, like the former MVP, the Greek freak, and possibly finals MVP with Giannis. But that was a play. And then there was another monumental play with the block. Now, the block on Ayton. That was almost like, oh, that's the play of the finals. And
yeah, everybody started debating that already. Is that the greatest block you've ever seen? Compare it to LeBron's all day for 2 straight weeks. And then Giannis, the post game, the day after the game, they asked him after his practice, like, hey, did you watch it? And he's like, first time I saw it was in Phil studies. Like, the moment that you start, like, you know, patting yourself on the back for past achievements, things that happened in the past, it's a moment that, you know, you get worse. He was given great bars, and actually we'll play that quote for you guys because we think it's such a great explanation and a great example of who Giannis is as a competitor.
Most definitely. But
this guy, you know, at least for me, Danny, I'm putting that sequence over the block as a more memorable moment from this series so far, just because Giannis followed it right back up with that crazy play that he was involved in.
Oh, yeah. I think, like, you know, in the recent finals moments, you got, like, even the Kyrie shot, you know, you have the block of LeBron, that transition, that like 4-minute period in Game 7 of 2016 was unreal. But then, like, now that I'm thinking about it, what big finals moments have we seen that were like, the Ray Allen 3 to send it to overtime. And then it's like, what else we got in these past 10 years? I mean, Dirk's like Game 2 against the Heat in 2011, but then we're kind of like reaching back. Like, he had a huge fourth quarter. This is one of the most pivotal plays, I think in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I love it.
I would rank it top 5.
Let's transition into, Danny, the Phoenix Suns. Like, observations from this series, from this team, is obviously going to start with the play of Chris Paul. He came out to start the series, start his first finals with that great performance. And it almost seems like he's been playing a safer game ever since then. There are times where you look at him and it's like, man, did he forget how to dribble the basketball? Like, I don't know if it's his shoulders that's an issue for him, but some of his turnovers are just really uncharacteristic of himself. But then again, folks online will show you also clutch moments in when CP3 just coughed up the ball or like it was an unfortunate turnover. What do you make of Chris Paul's play this series, and how important is he to making sure that the Suns can force a Game 7 on Tuesday?
He's going to be the pivotal piece. Next to Devin Booker, he is the guy, and argumentally, like, he is the most important piece of that Suns to get everything going. Because Devin Booker could create his own shot at any time. He's been a stud. And I've been knocking Devin Booker before he got into the playoffs. Like, you know, the hype about him, he's a scorer, but I would rank this guy over him, maybe this guy. You know, we're talking about like the Jamal Murrays and the Donovan Mitchells. This guy's elevated his game to another level. You know, offensively, he's putting up big numbers. Yes, he did have that Drew Holiday strip turnover, but again, you were surrounded by 4 guys. What else do you want the guy to do? He didn't have a look to pass. But it is Chris Paul that, you know, is orchestrating, right? You point God, as everybody likes to say. But where are we seeing him outside of that Game 1? And that Game 2, he had 23, but Mikal Bridges had 27. So it's him setting up others, great. But at the same time, he has to start scoring more. And it's going to be tough for him because you can't have a 19-point game and a 10-point game in those pivotal games in Milwaukee. And then when you're going back home, you're thinking, okay, we need you to have, you know, let's call it 25 and 8, right? He goes for 21 and 11, but no one else really was stepping up. Mikal Bridges was 5 of 6. They didn't get him the ball enough. I felt like he should have taken more shots. Devin had 40, but Chris Paul, his importance, and you got to remember, guys, he hasn't played this deep into the playoffs. He's 36, pushing 37 years old. His legs are gassed. He gave it all his Game 1. That 32-9 performance was amazing. He played 41 minutes in Game 2, which was unnecessary because, again, why are you playing 41 minutes when Cam Payne, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson are going off? You can kind of ease Chris Paul's minutes, save those legs. 34 minutes in a Game 3, which looked like a blowout. 37 minutes in another one disappointing game, and then goes for 35. But I think it's just catching up. I think he's just running out of gas at this point. And in order from them to get back into Phoenix, I'm gonna have him go for at least 27.
Yeah.
Because who else are you truly relying on? I cannot rely on Cam Payne to get me a double-digit scoring game.
No, not
you know
anymore.
I mean? Like,
that was it.
His
That
magic's
little Mike
gone.
Secret stuff is gone.
His magic
Chris Paul
is
for
gone.
the series is averaging 21 points and 8.8 assists a game.
Which is, if you looked at the numbers,
that's
you're like,
fine
wow.
for a regular season
Exactly.
Performance. But you look at the roster right now, and of course, Devin Booker is averaging 30, but then Chris Paul is second with 21, right? So 9 less points a game. After that, you drop down to 15 from DeAndre Ayton.
And
like, it's not, these aren't big boy numbers where it's like, all right, who are we looking towards that'll carry the team? And then you jump over to seeing how Milwaukee's doing. Giannis is giving you 32. Middleton's giving you 25. And then Drew Holiday's giving you 17 and a half a game. That's 65 points between 3 players. I can't get to 65 points within their first top 4 scores.
This is what
the Suns.
Another
Chris
thing is
Paul needs to be scoring Chris Paul if they're going to have a chance. And everybody talks about how Drew Holiday is locking him down, and ever since they put Drew Holiday on him, he's causing a lot of issues. That's fine. Chris Paul is still an elite offensive player, and I know he sets the table up for your Aytons and your Bridges and your Crowders and your Cam Johnsons, but damn it, they starting to get a little bit nervioso out there as well, CP. If D-Wade hugged you, and after the game 2, he said 2 more. And that has been a kiss of death because I have not seen the level of aggression out of Chris Paul since Dwayne Wade embraced him.
I think another thing is, you mentioned a great point. DeAndre Ayton, after Game 1, I'm telling you, Twitter went crazy again. The David Robinson comparisons were off the charts. The Tim Duncan comparisons. Oh, he was the first guy to have a 19-19 game since. Where has he been? I feel like after he got the alley-oop swatted by Giannis, his mentality changed. He's never been a true physical bruiser, but at least he was giving Giannis some push. He's not doing any of that. And then another thing is Mikal Bridges not getting enough shot attempts. I feel like he's been shooting very well in this finals. He had an 8 of 15 game, which is this 27-point game. He went 2 of 4. He only took 4 shots in 2 games and 6 shots in the game 5. I need more shots out of Mikal Bridges. If he's going to be your 4-year, $100 million guy, you need to put up 4-year, $100 million numbers in a sense. He's a great defensive player. Cam Johnson showed up, but you see him in spurts. Jay Crowder, after that first quarter in game 5, disappeared. After that dunk, disappeared. The Suns are fading away into the sunset, and that's what it's looking like.
Something should have told me when I obviously, hindsight's 2020, but when I should have just wrote down every name on both teams, Bucks, Suns, go down the list and be like, can I see this person with an NBA ring? And I forgot until I saw him step on the NBA court in the finals that Frank Kaminsky is in line to be an NBA champion. That can't happen. It can't happen, man. I just, the man's out there getting 6 minutes a game. There's no reason that Frank Kaminsky should be in an NBA Finals basketball game averaging 2 points and 1 rebound. It makes no sense. So, with that being said, I look over at Milwaukee's and I'm like, PJ Tucker deserves a ring. Bobby Portis deserves a ring. Brook Lopez deserves a ring. Drew Holiday deserves a ring. Like, all of these role players have been big vets in this league and have bounced around. But there's one thing that's always been said about them is they're contributing basketball players. I can only look at a player like Jeff Teague and be like, wow, Jeff Teague really about to be an NBA champion, huh?
Or maybe even like a guy like Bryn Forbes, because Bryn Forbes came in and was playing minutes game 1 through game 3 for shooting, but now he hasn't been seen because they're running a shorter rotation. But you're kind of right. I'm actually looking at the roster list right now. Look at the Suns' worst player coming off that bench, and look at the Bucks' worst player coming off that bench. If you want to call it Jeff Teague, fine. Let's go with like a level above that. Second worst, right? Who's better, Cam Payne or Pat Connaughton?
Yeah, I mean,
come on,
Pat Connaughton. Yeah. First of all, Pat Connaughton shooting 50% from 3.
He's been knocking
6
it
shots
down.
a game. He was out of his mind. So shout out Pat Connaughton with his Spanx knocking down all them big shots for them. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, like, I know Giannis is in health and safety protocols, and thank God Giannis didn't have to end up getting thrown into that, because then this whole thing would have been like, what the fuck are we even watching anymore? That, like, thank God Giannis was healthy, because that's how we would have responded to this finals. And the Phoenix Suns would have been worse than that 08 Boston team that got their sole championship and then probably will never let you shut the fuck up about it for the rest of their lives. Like, I think this Bucks team is going to be back competing against the Nets next year. Do I think a healthy Nets team would have washed them? Sure, but that's not a guarantee. Kyrie Irving's always got bumps and bruises, right? James Harden, they were running him into the ground during the regular season.
And you got to remember who
James Harden story.
You got to remember who James Harden is in the playoffs too.
Them hamstrings was ham sandwiches, bro, and then you couldn't put it together. But, I think the Suns, this is their only year. I don't think first of all, do you think Chris Paul is going to opt in to that deal or going to seek a long-term deal?
So this is kind of the conundrum, the caveat, whatever you want to call it. Chris Paul's window is now like, when you crack open a window and there's a little bit of breeze coming in, that's what it is. Literally, the breeze is coming in just to air out the room a little bit, But for him to leave $42 million on the table to try to go win a ring at this point, it's like, okay, now we see the Suns. Are the Suns, again, as you just said, this is their only chance. Are they good enough to compete next year if they don't make another signing? Because remember, they got to sign Mikal Bridges. They're looking probably to extend Cam Johnson. They're going to do these things. Can they run it back? Chris Paul has that choice. Okay, I got Devin Booker. He's my star. He's going to be the best player on the team by far next year. He's probably going to be challenging. He might even be in MVP considerations next year. So I got that. I got DeAndre Ayton. He's been growing on me. He's been doing his thing. So I got a nice some assets to work with. Now the surrounding guys, can he run it back again against a healthy Lakers team? Can he run it back again against a healthy Nuggets team? Can he run it back again, depending on, I'm not going to say the Blazers because they're in a mess, but a healthy Warriors
team. In a mess too, and we're going to get into them next.
And you got to talk about the healthy Warriors team. They bring back Clay. They signed someone. They're in they got all the trade assets in the world to bring someone in. So can that Phoenix Suns team do it? Chris Paul, I wouldn't doubt him leaving that much money on the table because he's the one who said vets should get paid. We got to remember that.
He is the president of the Players Association. He was the reason that they set up that 36-year-olds can get that match extension still. So it'd be something if he decided to say, no, I don't want to pursue that right now. But at the end of the day, who is that money available to him?
Yeah, well, no, not anywhere else. I think because you got to think about other teams. Do you think a team like the New York Knicks is going to pay him $40 million a year? I know the Knicks aren't the smartest franchise in everyone else's world, but they're not that dumb. You know what I mean? Like the Lakers, I think, are the only team that are like, we'll throw a minimum at you, we'll get you a ring type thing. Not even a minimum, whatever it is, MLE. If they don't sign Schroeder, and it just gets in that mess.
MLE, though. But yeah, I mean, it would have to be a sign and trade, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I don't see, like you just said, CP leaving money on the table. If he's going to do that, he might as well just opt in.
You can run it back.
You could technically do your run it back, and that's under your control.
I'm gonna ask. This is for like everyone on NBA Twitter, Bag Twitter, Dribble Drag, Punch Drag Twitter.
Wow.
Are the Suns that good enough to run it back again next year with 4 legit teams healthy in the West? Clippers, Lakers, Nuggets, Warriors. Those 4
throw the Clippers out.
Oh, because of Kawhi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Ready? Lakers.
Kawhi Leonard.
Lakers.
Has
Nuggets.
a torn ACL.
Oh, yeah. It was partially, I heard.
And they were just swept under the rug. We're not going to see Kawhi Leonard play basketball for like 8 months. I hope everyone is well aware that it's about to be the Paul George-led Los Angeles Clippers for the foreseeable future. Paul George already signed his extension.
Yeah.
This Kawhi injury, I would assume he's staying. Like even before I said money is on, he's staying. If this is a guy who fought tooth and nail to get back home, I don't really see him leaving to Miami, which is on the other side of the country. Maybe, but there's still no guarantee that he joins the Heat off of a repaired ACL, and maybe he comes back to end the season. But
it's
you're
kind
not
of
in the driver's seat. You might as well do your rehab at the crib.
It's kind of like the KD thing, right? Like, he could have signed back with the Warriors, and they would have happily brought him back or whatever it is. But, he was hurt, and the Nets said, you know what, we're going to sign potentially one of the best 5 players in the NBA, even if he has the Achilles, and he chose to go there. So maybe if he did opt out, let's say he wanted to go to a team with a lot of money like the Knicks, right? Go there. Knicks have nothing to lose next year. They're maybe in playoff contention. They bring back Kawhi the following year.
Don't want New York.
He's not gonna leave. But okay, so if we go back to the healthy teams really quick, Lakers, Warriors, Nuggets, possibly Jazz. Those 4 teams. Are the Phoenix Suns better than those 4 teams next year? I just want to ask that.
They were the number 2 seed this year, and
Utah
was healthy. Utah was fine.
Yeah,
Utah was 3, right?
Yeah, Utah's actually number 1 seed.
Yeah, Utah was 1,
and they lost to the Clippers. But I'm saying next year is going to be a whole different ball game. Free agency is going to dictate a whole different thing. So we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, Phoenix is going to get better. Devin Booker's going to get better. Aiden's going to get better.
Okay, the finals, right? We're at Game 5. Do you think the Suns have enough to push it back to the Valley? In your honest opinion?
No, I'll tell you this, Danny. I'll be in the Deer Garden.
You'll be tomorrow. In the Deer District?
I'll be in the Deer District. I'll be in Deer Park, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're going to see. Hey, I'm coming for a funeral. We're going to pack the bags. We're going to do some interviews. We let the folks know. I think that it is over. I think Giannis feels it. I saw him after his post game. He was still calm, cool, and collected. He was giving that fist pump like that one, this win on the road with a chance to win it at home. He felt a different energy flowing through his body. So I expect a crazy game from them. But like honestly, You want me to keep it a buck 150 with you? I think it's going to be one of those onslaught games where the Bucks are going to be in the lead. Phoenix is doing all they can to keep it close. It's going to be like a 6 to 8 point game at halftime. Then it's going to look up. Third quarter, it's going to get to 15.
Damn.
They going to touch 20.
Damn.
Once they touch 20, it's going to be like, oh, shit.
No, the 30 piece?
Nah, I don't think it's going to be a Lakers-Boston Game 6 type of deal, but it's definitely one of those. Just like when the Lakers won the championship against the Heat, that game felt like it was about to be over. Like going in second and third quarters, it was close enough, but then it was like
separation.
Yeah, LeBron didn't even have a crazy game yet. AD is just casually knocking down these jumpers. It's the writing's on the wall. So that's my prediction. Good. I think Phoenix has enough, but Phoenix is also a young team. Mikal Bridges, I haven't heard from you in a while, my boy. Jay Crowder, that was a really cool dunk and one that you had the other day. You caught the ball with one hand, 1-2 dunk. That was cool. But bro, that's only worth 2 points as well. I just don't think Phoenix, outside of Devin Booker going nuclear, can do it. So I think it's over. No. What about you?
There's always a puncher's chance, but I originally said Bucks in 7, but as the crowd likes to say in Milwaukee, Bucks in 6. Remember those Suns in 4 chants? Do you guys remember that? You guys remember Suns in 4? No? Nobody? Just me? Okay. Bucks in 6. I think even though with the puncher's chance, I think Giannis just showed all the heart, the grit, whatever you want to call it in the world, playing on a damn near snapped in half leg and doing his thing. He really is built in a lab, that guy. He's just unreal. But, I'm going to give, really big props to Khris Middleton, who has been a gamer all through his career and never got the recognition. Yep. He got that big $150 million contract a couple years ago.
That's a decent amount of recognition.
Yeah, I know, but for Milwaukee, but not for everybody else in the association, not everybody else on the media, not everybody else watching the game. Khris Middleton's been a closer. He's been a guy who's been handling the rock in the fourth quarter when it matters. He's been a guy who's been hitting tough shots, playing 40-plus minutes, having 2 40-piece games in the finals. That's special. Now, he's not going to get MVP. Yeah. Now, I know he's not going to get finals MVP.
Yeah, stop talking about who deserves, who should win. As long as the best player on the team isn't having an awful series, they're going to win it. That Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala finals MVP is the only outlier besides pulling straws between could Kobe have gotten that MVP for that Indiana series, in which, he had the credentials, right, Danny?
I honestly thought, you got game 4 when he saved Shaq, but I thought the one against the Nets, I thought that could have been Kobe's, to be honest.
Okay, so you're saying the Nets series was a finals MVP.
Yeah, 0-2, I think that should have been him. But the other ones I'm thinking about, like one-off MVPs, there was
imagine giving Michael Finley the MVP, over Dirk. It just
come on, that team. Jason Terry. So
we'll give it to Jason Terry or Jason Kidd, whoever the hell y'all thought, or Tyson Chandler because he played great defense. No, my God. Giannis is dropping 32 and 13 after it was doubtful that he was even going to play in the finals.
That's what I'm saying. He was
in the conversation.
He had a 40-piece too. Giannis is going MVP, but
he couldn't do it without. He couldn't do it without Khris.
It's like when LeBron wins the 2016 MVP, and then you got guys in the media like Skip Bayless saying Kyrie should have got it because he hit that good shot. No, man, he hit a big shot. He hit one of the biggest shots to ever see the finals, but he's not gonna win MVP over LeBron James.
Giannis is shooting 61% from the field. Khris Middleton shooting 44%. Yes, they do have two different ways of putting the ball in the basket, but. And one is averaging damn near 10 more points than the other, and is shooting 20% better from the field. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Giannis, congratulations. So they also talked about, Danny, and I'll get your opinion on this.
Okay, go ahead.
The credentials of Giannis at 26 now, if you were to win an MVP. All right, were to win his first title. Okay. 2 regular season MVPs, 2 Defensive Player of the Years, and a Finals MVP and NBA champion.
Does he also have an All-Star Game MVP?
I'm sure he does, but I'm not adding that to the credential shit, right? Is that the case for being the best 26-year-old or having the best career by the age of 26 of all time?
That's tough. I'm looking at his accomplishments. You're 5-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, NBA All-Star Game MVP, 3-time first team, second time. Jesus Christ. Most improved player. You know what? I'm gonna say as of right now, 26. I mean, you can't sleep on Kawhi Leonard, but I don't know if he got that ring.
No MVPs though.
No MVPs.
No, I mean
I
the only other answer is LeBron James.
I was gonna say either LeBron or Kobe Bryant because
right, Kobe had 3 rings then, but
Kobe
no
had 3 rings,
MVPs.
but he wasn't
no Finals MVPs.
The number one option type because he was playing with Shaq. God, LeBron is the only guy, but LeBron didn't even win his first ring at 26. He just had 2 MVPs.
I mean, LeBron had 2 more All-Stars, 2 more All-NBAs nominations, and they were both 2-time MVPs. LeBron won his first championship at 27. So,
the following year. Yeah.
So, I think this conversation, which is starting to make its rounds on, let's see, First Take actually today was arguing this, and First Things First, but it's not going to matter. Yeah. Like, Giannis, the goal was for you to get to the club before your late 20s. You did it. You know what's going to be the next thing as soon as you win that championship? Can you do that shit again? And again. You have proven, Giannis has proven that he is the number one on a championship winning team. You know, I know we're doing a little bit of assumptions, but I think the series will be over the next time we talk to you guys.
I'm sick of people just like looking at his game and saying, oh, he just because he doesn't dribble the ball for 20 seconds and ship somebody and gets the rack and do all these fancy things, it's not nice basketball. Bro, Giannis doesn't give a shit. He is the strongest guy on the court. He's going to body the hell out of he's going to move furniture, body the hell out of your center, and dunk on you all game long till you stop. And guess what? He's got the I've been saying this. He's got the speed in the fast break and in the open court. He is Russell Westbrook at a 7-foot frame, and he will dunk on you all day long. He will Euro step. What other 6'11" guy is running at full speed, Euro stepping, finishing with both hands, can spin off you, can dunk, just reach, finish, his second jump ability. Like, he's got game. Just because he doesn't hit a consistent jumper, maybe it does come, but that's not truly his game. He realized that. He realized, I can't be taking these 19-footers. As much as I love AD, I think AD in the half court, much more skilled, right?
Right.
Catch it. You know, he's got the jab step finish. He's got everything, right? But how nervous would you be if AD said, you know what, I'm going to grab this full court, push it ahead of everybody, and try to Euro step DeAndre Ayton to finish that? I would be shaking it because I'm thinking, oh my God, if he lands funny, you might just see AD just like fade like how they did in like Avengers, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he would just like
away.
he just blipped away. You know what I mean? Like, it's different type of skill. They're both amazing in their own right, but one looks more aesthetically pleasing when it's like, okay, I'm gonna catch it here, spin off you, jumper, fade away. Great. AD could do that all day long, but can AD do what Giannis does in the open court or in bodying people the way Giannis does? It's debatable. Open court, no, but the bodying, yes.
Yeah, I think it's Giannis's fluidity with the ball in transition, and you know, they're really using him as the primary ball handler in those inverted pick and rolls, where smaller guys setting a screen for him, and they're asking him to make the decision making. You know, call it what you want with LeBron and AD pick and rolls. They're, you know, similar, but AD's the big in that. So, but there's not a lot of AD getting the inverted screen by like KCP or LeBron, for example, and we see that. So there, you know, I was in the boat of give me AD over Giannis, and I still want people to fucking remember what AD did in the finals and what run he went on in the bubble. Like, check those numbers, watch the highlights. That boy was a monster.
He was cooking.
Damn it. But I think this run by Giannis with, you know, obviously the best support system that he's ever had. If AD, I I mean, AD did have Drew Holiday, right? And I think that year that him and Boogie were cooking down in New Orleans, I don't think there was a finals run, but there might have been another round if Boogie didn't get hurt. So I Anthony Davis, I think, is going to all of this. Giannis winning a championship this year. I'm not saying there's a direct one-for-one impact in how AD is going to come out next season, but I think he's well aware that is his comp right now in the league. They're going to compare him to Giannis. They're going to compare him to Jokic. They're going to compare him to all the other to Embiid, right? Who would you rather have? And unless AD wants to start being number 3 or 4 in that conversation, I think he's going to come out and start the year off strong. And we're going to, be reminded pretty quickly why always dominant Anthony Davis is regarded as one of the 50 greatest talents to ever play this game.
Yeah.
And I think, Giannis is definitely entering that sphere if he's already not in it already. He already is in it, being a 2-time MVP. But I think that championship, being the number 1 option, being the finals MVP with this stat line and these moments that he's already put together in the finals, it is going to be beautiful for his career. And hopefully it's inspiring for his counterparts that they will, say, all right, bet. Now you got one, I got one.
The big man is back in a sense.
No, I know that's right. That's the truth, man. Look around the league. Who was the MVP this year?
Jokic.
Right?
Who was second? Embiid.
Come on now. The return of the biggie.
Yeah.
Return of the biggie. Well, hell, it was usually LeBron James or Steph Curry or Kevin Durant, right?
But
now
these are like
Giannis.
true big. Yeah, man. And it's like, it's kind of refreshing to see. But, man, Giannis is all world. I think that 26-year-old conversation thing, I got to stack him up against other people in different generations too. But I think right now, if we're living in the moment, yes, I would say yes. I wonder how, what was Tim Duncan at?
Right, for his accomplishments at 26.
Yeah, because I know he won a ring his second year.
Yeah, never went back to back, but 2 championships. He also went all 4 years at Wake Forest.
Yeah, so that kind of limited it, but still, I mean, I think I'm gonna right now. As of right now, I'm gonna say Giannis because I don't have the tiers and everything ranked in front of me. But off the top of my head, I can't think of somebody who's just so many accomplishments in like such little time. I think from 2016 on, he had a really good 5-year run. I don't know what else to say because his first couple of years he was developmental. He won Most Improved one of the years, so you just saw the progression.
Fun fact, I completely forgot that Jason Kidd was his head coach for multiple years.
And you see that. I was going to mention, when you mentioned those inverted pick and rolls and how he's finding people in the corner and like slinging it around, that's literally what he was doing in like 2015 running point from the Milwaukee Bucks while Jason Kidd was there.
Oh, J Kidd had him on that.
Yeah. J Kidd had him running point. You see it.
We do see it. We see it. Real quick, Danny, before we get out of here, I know you got to go off to Elon's factory. Give me a Dame prediction. Where does he play basketball next year?
Depending on what the Warriors can get him, I think he might go home to Oakland. Mm-hmm. Trade package looks kind of sexy.
Honestly, man,
that or Philly.
My mind's going in that direction as well. And I think Philly's probably number 2 in the clubhouse. But if they probably asked Dame, like, where's your hit list right now? Granted, he did not list Golden State when some random fan asked him that years ago. He said Utah or the Lakers.
Yeah. I
don't think either team right now is in position to do that. Hell, they were talking about the Jazz possibly wanting to get rid of Boban and Joe Ingles for a significant upgrade. Well, I mean, I think not Chris Paul. I think Dame would be a significant upgrade. It's just you're talking now about divisional and conference opponents. It's really hard to be a Portland fan, see Damian Lillard in a Golden State uniform, just literally obliterate your team every time.
And that's literally the team that crushes Portland every year in the playoffs. And, to play with Steph Curry, it's like, that would be dynamic. I don't know how they get it done. I think they have the best trade package. Philly does too. They got a good one.
Yeah,
Don't
that's why I
sleep-
think it's Philly.
Yeah,
because
and
they're
then-
on the other conference.
Yeah, and then if we're looking East Coast teams, if we're looking Eastern Conference, I'm saying either Philly or the Knicks. He
Yeah.
said New York. He listed
The
New
Knicks
York
could
as one of the-
definitely put
yeah.
it together, but if I'm going to keep it a buck, I don't think Dame gets any closer to a championship going to play for the fucking Knicks. So
No, he doesn't.
sorry, it's like a Carmelo Anthony 2.0 all over
Type
again.
deal. Yeah.
So, all right, yeah, I agree. I would say, I'd say Philadelphia is probably the number one place if I had to guess gun to my head, but I would not be surprised if Golden State just sit here,
Yeah.
take it all. We just need to be back. So
Yeah.
that'll do it this week on this episode of Late Night Lake Show podcast. Appreciate you guys chopping it up with us. Danny and I are going to get back on our horse and back recording more often for y'all as we move into hashtag rumor season.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Free
for that.
agency right around the corner,
Let's
y'all. You
go.
know how we pick up that propaganda train. And we're excited to talk to you guys soon. So we'll join y'all next week. For Danny, it's Ricky. Peace.